Right, now we're fully live, I think. Is the sound okay? Do we sound good? Do we sound normal? Do I sound way too loud or quiet? Or are we okay? Please say we're okay. Is the audio normal? Let me know. Is the audio normal? Is the audio normal? Please be good, please be good. Yes! Send it. Yes, excellent. Phew! We are good to go. Good, because we've got a lot to do this evening. So, this is the new and improved RatRig V-Core 3 with all the new fancy stuff on it, which is not particularly new or particularly fancy, but different from what I originally was building, or had. All the wiring is completed and ready to go. Drivers are in, Raspberry Pi's in, power supply's in, wiring is all mainsed up, earth to the frame, earth to the bed, all looking fantastic. Parts are all ABS, bed's in, but the surface is upside down. In fact, I'm going to leave it upside down until we have done configuration, just in case I end up driving the nozzle into the bed accidentally. Right, good evening everyone. We're not sponsored today, so we can just get on with it. So, everything is kind of done, so we're just looking really at firmware / software stuff today. V-CoreOS, which is obviously the Klipper fluid and upcoming main sale firmware. We'll get that all installed, configured, then we'll try and do, maybe, some automatic input shaping measurements, and then we'll try and do a first print. So we've got, what, 2.5 to 3 hours? Hopefully that's going to be good enough. No, I've not been printing on that side. Oh dear. This is the difficult extra hard mode side, that's what this side is. So if the other side is just too easy, you flip it over so that nothing sticks, and that makes it more hard, so, obviously. So I guess we'll get on with it. So this isn't going to be a complete tutorial. It will be a bit tutorial-y, I think. I've done it a couple of times recently, but V-CoreOS will probably look like it's going to be a little bit different. Excellent, we got a whole bunch on Twitch as well. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is looking good. This is all going well. Okay, so as I said, the plan is firmware. So there's a bunch of links in the description that should be useful if you're following along as a kind of guide. We are going to be doing it from scratch, but I have prepared some things just to make the process a little bit quicker so we don't have to wait for the computer to do stuff while it's also trying to process a stream. So there. So the main part we're going to be going through, where is it? Is we'll get there eventually. Something like this. So this is covering installation of V-CoreOS, which is the kind of all-inclusive, pre-configured, mostly, almost entirely, firmware for originally just the V-Core 3, but it can be used on other things. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I don't think there's anything else particularly we need to run through. So if you were to be following this, it would be at this stage when you're looking to go to firmware. Duet's here, and then V-CoreOS is here. So you could kind of follow these instructions. But these are all just based on Skr Pro, I think, by the looks of it. They're probably very similar, to be honest, but this one looks tidier and cooler. So I'm going to be following this one. I guess I think we'll probably go with this view today. Nope, that's not worked well. Hang on a minute. There we go. So mainly computer-based working. That's a bit close, isn't it? Well, at least you can see what I'm trying to do. So let's get started. So to begin with, we need to download a bunch of stuff from not only GitHub, but other places too. So V-CoreOS obviously is like the firmware that we're going to be installing. I'm not going to be doing the pre-release, so in the future what you're looking for is latest version or a release tag. Pre-release ones you probably want to avoid unless you're doing some testing. This is strictly not a released candidate. This is release candidate 2, meaning it's like it's could be released as this one soon, but it has the Octopus support in, so I'm going to be going for this version. You may want to just find a full release if you're just doing a stable build on a different controller. So download that. So what you want to take is one of the bin files, so the one that's appropriate for your control board. For me, it's the Big Tree Tech Octopus. I mean, if you're using Skr Pro or PhysTech, the Spider board, then you obviously would take different ones. And you also need this zip file. For me, as I said, I've already downloaded them. And I've got those in this folder here. So V-CoreOS, you'll end up with an image, and your bin file will look like that. Obviously, I don't want to download them in the middle of a stream, just in case it interrupts my upload. That would be not good. Let's just move this over the top of this. That's fine. So once we've got those downloaded, then you need probably, so I've not obviously run through all these instructions before, so I'm new to these instructions, but previously I've also used PuTTY and WinSCP. So this is PuTTY, SSH and Telnet client, so for connecting to the Raspberry Pi directly, if you want to run commands directly on the Pi. And then WinSCP is a really good utility for transferring files, so if you need to transfer a bin file or a firmware file over to the Raspberry Pi, then this is a really good way to do it. So those links are in the description if you need those. We may need them later on, but I don't know at the moment because I said I've not done it yet. Good evening, Mikhail. Don't worry, I'm going through your instructions. Presumably you at least had a hand in writing them, if not wrote them. So once you've downloaded it, we're then going to flash this to an SD card. So I'm going to be using a decent brand. I've got a SanDisk SD card. The performance is not going to be hugely important, but I would go for something that's not like super cheap because it's going to be running the firmware. You did write the whole thing. Excellent. Excellent. And then we're going to be using the Raspberry Pi tool. So this tells you where to go. There's a whole load of stuff. I'm not going to read it all now, but basically you end up here and you can download this, which is a imager software, which will allow you to transfer the V-CoreOS firmware, which we downloaded earlier, into, so this image file onto an SD card. So this software looks like this. You basically get your SD card reader and stick it in the computer. I don't know why I'm explaining that. That should be fairly self-explanatory. I have already done this on this SD card, so it may not work quite right. So you choose your operating system, and we're going to use a custom, and we're going to go for the, so you basically browse to the location where you've saved it, select that and open it, choose your storage, which is the SD card that you've just inserted, and then you click write. Again, I'm not going to actually do that right now, I've already done it, so this SD card is ready to go. And it takes like 10-15 minutes, obviously depending on your speed of computer, all that kind of stuff. How to SD card stuff, yes. Well, you know, some people might not know. I guess a lot of people have done this kind of stuff by now, but that's why I'm trying to run through it quite quickly. So it's there for reference, but not super important. So that, click right, and that's done, and then you end up with your kind of boot drive, which is the SD card. And if you want to add in Wi-Fi details, you can do that in here. So you got SSID and password, and then you can basically take out this, and this. Well, you don't need to do the top one, to be honest, but that will then enable Wi-Fi. I'm just going to use wired connection because my rat rig is set up with a Ethernet cable, and hopefully I should be able to get one that I can plug in, so I don't need to worry about Wi-Fi for now. So that's that part. Here you go, it explains when to do thing. In the V-CoreOS, find the file, use a proper thing, don't use WordPad, Notepad, Notepad++, etc. Proper text editors, not weird things. And then after that we're going to go over here. For some reason that doesn't want to work. Oh dear, well that worked fine earlier. Oh, it does. You just can't open it in a new tab. Okay, well, I've got a tab for it here. So we'll deal with the SD card stuff with the Pi in a bit. So I followed this wiring diagram for my printer, so everything should work as intended. I've not actually done the ADXL 345 at the moment. On the Voron and in my own custom configuration on a different printer, I use the Raspberry Pi. I know, I didn't do this on mine. Well, on the Voron, this went directly to the Raspberry Pi, whereas here we're obviously going direct to the Octopus instead. So that will be a little bit different from what I've done before, but hopefully I'll be able to work that out. That shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, be careful with the wiring, all this kind of stuff. So for the firmware installation, this time we're obviously doing firmware for the control board. This SD card was for the Raspberry Pi. So another SD card, this one doesn't really matter what you use because it's only going to be temporary. Once you put the firmware onto the control board, you can just take the SD card out and use it for something else. You don't need it in there all the time. So here we go again. So this is just a empty SD card. We want our stream data folder and the firmware that we have. This is obviously the one we downloaded from the GitHub just now, and we want to rename that. Oh, see a daisy. F2. Well, in fact, we want it called firmware, so we can just delete all of this. And that's then a kind of standard firmware file that the control board knows to read as it boots up, and it will flash the control board with this new firmware. Easy peasy. Remove that SD card, and we're good to go there. So we can probably do these now both at the same time. VS Code does all the apps you listed in one. Woo. I haven't tried that on those. I tend to prefer just recommending things that I know I've tried before. But thank you. I'll give it a go. I have used VS Code, I've just not used it that extensively. So Raspberry Pi obviously down here, SD card slot should be handily sticking out the edge. I'm going to pretend I planned that, but I definitely didn't. So we're going to stick that in there. Hopefully, there we go. I'm also, for now, just going to unplug the Raspberry Pi from the Octopus. And this is actually going to be the first time powering it on since it's all wired, so this could be rather interesting. Hopefully this goes well. Yeah, I guess my SSH and client stuff is all a bit old school. I've not changed what I've done with that for many years. I need to get up with it. What's the get with the times? That's the phrase I'm looking for. So, right, let's get it powered on. We need a power cable. That's going to be really useful for this. So, with the whole thing powered off, we should have nothing. That's a pretty good amount of nothing. No lights, no flickering, no sparking. Now we turn it on and hope for the best. We should have, oh, we can put the move this for a minute. Put the SD card in the slot for this, and they'll both do their things as they turn on then. So, turn on. So, BL Touch has just done its thing that it does, the power on and self-test. We've got lights here, we've got lights here. Looking good. Never really sure how long to wait to get it to do the things it needs to do. I would assume the Raspberry Pi will be a little bit longer, although it's not really, I don't know if it's actually doing anything, probably not, so probably good to go. Let's get the, oh, that's a little bit short, isn't it? Hang on a moment. Oopsie daisy. Whew. I'm back. So that should be fine. I am going to actually power cycle them again quickly and get these two plugged in. You can also verify that the firmware has flashed correctly using just by checking the file now that's left on the SD card. Yeah, so that says firmware.cur, which basically means current firmware, so that's good. And that SD card can now be used for something else. That end in, that end in. That sounds weird, but that's in. Okie dokie. Give me power. So now we're pretty much ready to find it on the network. What's the one that we're looking for? Installation guide, here we go. Setup. With the control board connected, turn on your printer. After a couple of minutes, open the browser. Poof. V-CoreOS.local. Excellent. That was suitably errory. In the settings page in Fluid, scroll to the bottom and click software updates. Ooh, do we want to be doing the updates right now? Let's change the name. Add a theme. Those are obviously the most important things to get. Updates. So we should probably do these updates. Kristen, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Is that like a Danish krone? I don't know what the currency is. I must find out. The Danish krone. Thank you very much. Instructions. Oh no, not instructions. This one. Here we go. Okay, so let's do some updates. Hopefully these don't take too long, because this was obviously something I couldn't really do beforehand. Sure, let's just leave this here. This might take a little bit. That's a very kind donation, by the way. Thank you very much. The notification on the screen doesn't really work very well. It's gone to 2 lines, but there you go. Oh, update finished. It made a sound and some lights have turned on. I'm going to go get a drink of water while I remember, because I forgot earlier. Fans and everything. Don't know why the hot end fans come on. I do know it's because that's error, isn't it? When there's an error, it comes on. Invalid path request config.git is outside. Okay. I'm going to just keep going and hope that when we've got all of them, it will fix itself. Consider that path error fully ignored. While we're here, I want to get the cube. Is there... was it an Ever cube or a RatRo cube? Still updating. Oh, how is that not found? There we go. I know what I'm looking for, I just don't know where it is. CAD, parts. No idea where it is. The path area is going to show up each time you restart Moonraker. It's a bug in Fluid. It's part of the reason we're switching to main cell. Okie dokie. Oh, that's gone weird. Why have we ended up in GitHub Plus? I do not know what GitHub Plus is. Oh, we're nearly there. No, this one's taking a little bit longer. Oh, we found RatOS. Adam isn't Polish. That's why Adam struggles to say it properly every single time. I don't understand any of this. I'm just going to back away slowly and not worry about it. Oh, this is still going. It's on the Ever website. This is where I was originally. Okay, so you've got the round top cube and the not cube. This not cube looks way more cube than not cube. Not cube's round top is definitely not a cube. So that's not cube is, I suppose it's still not a cube. It's more of a cube than not cube. I quite like this cube. Okay, that one's done. V-CoreOS packages. Read the chat. I'm reading the chat. There seems to be, I don't know. It's not a big delay, but. It's not a cube. Does that mean it is a cube? It's just not a cube. Andy Emblo, £5. I've really enjoyed the build of this and the Voron 2.4. Thank you very much, Andy. I have too. It's been good fun. I do enjoy building stuff, so I'm glad that was enjoyable for you too. I would say it is a cube. This is not a cube. Well, I think a benchy is also not a cube as well, then, right? Let's just double check for updates, but we should be good. Okay. So I'm just going to restart Klipper, and I guess, okay, I think we're pretty good there. Everything's been extra doubly restarted. Right. Oh, we got temperatures on the Raspberry Pi and Skr Pro. Well, that's pretty fancy, isn't it? I mean, it's not an Skr Pro. The heater bed's pretty nippy, isn't it? What's going on there? Is mine a different... Well, I guess we better get into the configuration file. So let's follow the instructions because we're well behaved. Set up updating, do the software updates for V-CoreOS. Be sure to keep this up to date. That's what I've done. Excellent. Well done, me. Introduction, fluid. Oh, this bit's the best bit. Fluid is a control interface for your printer. It's a web application that talks to Klipper through Moonraker. Fluid is what you'll be using to start prints, monitor progress, configure Klipper, and much more. Fluid is what you see when you open V-CoreOS Local. Fluid! For the not recovery fund. Thank you very much, Jason. $10 is very kind. Fluid! Oh, I don't understand. Why is this here? It doesn't help. Is that just in case you can't read that word quite big enough? Fluid! I found this earlier while having a look. It entertained me enormously. Oh dear. So, initial configuration. In the configuration page is Fluid. There's lots of files. Among them is printer CFG. Right click, choose edit. Right, so if you watch the Voron stuff, you'll have seen I've gone through this a lot, but I'm imagining seeing something a little bit different. And I am. I don't think you should change this. I think this is good as it is. Fluid. Just in case you couldn't read it before. Extra big. Oh dear. It's just so... It just doesn't need to be funny, but it just is. Check things. Verify stepper directions. Right click, choose edit. This is where your Klipper configuration lives. Basically, it's pre-populated with some included files which are meant to get you up and running quick and easy. Follow the instructions in the file to make sure... Oh, there are instructions. I should read those. Here we go. Oh, I can't zoom in. Why you no zoom in? What if I... Oh, shit. If I zoom in here and then go here. Oh, no, not in there. Don't go in there. Oh, there. Clicking the wrong thing. Back to... How do I go up? No. Up. Printer CFG. Edit. There we go. Now it's enormous. There's going to be entire content on the screen to people screaming fluid. Oh, it's so good though. So, do not edit this file. RatOS V-Core 3 Klipper config. The first thing you'll need to do is go through this file and comment out or uncomment the files and or settings you need. You'll be able to print just fine with this config as it is, but it's recommended that you follow these steps to properly calibrate your printer. Sanity check and PID tuning. verify heaters, verify stepper motor, enable pin, verify installs, verify stepper motors. Pressure advance, skew correction, resonance. Read more about Klipper. Okay, so let's go through. I know I'm using this and not that, so I'm going to assume this is what I need to do. Base setup. V-Core 3, steppers, TMC 2209, that's all good. Add a exclamation mark in front of the pin name to reverse the direction. 40 for 22 DC2, 32 for 16, 2. I'm assuming I've got default, so I'll leave those. Got default. Extruder, remove for default. Uncomment this next line if you have an ADXL 345 connected to the Skr Pro. I don't yet, so we'll leave that for now. BL Touch, yep, we have BL Touch. That's enabled. Physical end stops. Say safe homing in the middle of the bed. 300mm printer. End stop position, adjust this to your config. Note you might need fine tuning. Position end stop. Okay. Senseless homing. I'm not going to do senseless homing, just not a big fan. Remove the hash from the printer size below. Similarly, add a hash in front of the included config. Okay, that's fine, we're on 300. Speed and acceleration. Check Klipper resonance for input shaper calibration. Do not enable this next line without actively cooled stepper drivers. Ooh, hello. Extrusion. We are BMG. Hot end. We are not V6. We are not Copperhead or Mosquito or Magnum. We are Dragon High Flow. This is quite easy, isn't it? Pressure advance. Yeah, we obviously need to do tuning for that, so we'll leave it off for now. Hot end heating, PID, room to run PID. Obviously we do need to run this, we'll leave them as they are. Macros, config, place overrides. Right. Why not a fan of senseless? Just because it's less accurate and because you have to actually put effort in to tune it to get it to work properly. And with Core XY, because it's not independent motors, it's more complex than it needs to be. There's nothing wrong with it really. It's not as accurate, but it doesn't really matter. And given the amount of effort it is on this printer to add end stops, which is almost zero, like, I'm happy just going with it as it is. Please work, please work, please work. Ah. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a... I'm guessing my sensor on my bed, it's gone... Where is it? It's not showing. It's just... It's not a keynote. Yeah, this is not. This was not a special sponsored one, was it? This is just the normal one. This should just be. Oh, I've plugged it in the wrong place. There we go. Helps if you plug it in the right place, doesn't it? That's a real big advantage. Let's restart again. Who'd have thought plugging things in the right place is useful, eh? You just don't expect that. Rails supply exceptionally hot as expected. There, yeah, it was jittering all over the place. Cool. I'm going to turn my music on. Okay. So, there was some... Yeah, so here we've got some verification steps separate to the Klipper ones. I'm going to use this because this looks cool. I had a read of this. So obviously we want to make sure before we start trying to home stuff that the motors are going in the correct directions. If they're not, then you end up crashing into stuff way faster than you can stop it, and then you panic and you break stuff, and it gets expensive very quickly. So it's good to make sure that your motor's all going in the correct directions before you start ploughing through things. So I'm actually going to turn this off and turn it all around, because we don't need to see this side anymore, and unfortunately I can't turn it around with the cables plugged in because they're short. So let's get that turned off, shut the cables under there and turn it around. And you can't see anything anyway. Everything is working wonderfully at the moment. It's almost too good to be true so far. Stuff never goes this well. So we want this one. So make sure the steppers are running in the correct direction. To do this, center all your axes by moving the carriage and bed manually, which I've kind of done pre-stream because it could have been a pain. And now we can run that command and use the fluid controls to move the axis. So this is like a force motion without homing kind of process by the looks of it. We don't need that now. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. This should be coming back. Why am I not finding anything? Hang on a minute. Actually, did I turn it back on? I think I didn't. Really helps if you turn it on, otherwise there's not a lot of power. Just a note, I recommended you shut down your pies properly. There's a bot for that in fluid and mainsail, or those SDK odds will die fairly quickly. I've been told that by quite a lot of people now. I tend to, when I'm using them, I tend to do it properly, but during streams, for speed, I'm generally in the bung it off and bung it back on again camp, I'm afraid. So, set center kinematic position. There you go, you can see it's a macro. Presumably we could just click that. So those are going in the wrong direction. So we've got X positive. That is right, isn't it? Because home is obviously front left corner as always. And then we've got positive X, positive Y, and positive Z. So Y, that's going in the right direction. That's positive for Y. Negative for Y, that's all good. It's just Z, so Z down should bring that closer to the bed, and it's going the opposite way, so we need to switch around the Z axis. X, Y, Z. So we'll stick our what's it here, 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 and we'll save and restart. It is a do as I said, not as I do, yeah. Yeah, no, I've got no problem with you pointing it out. That's absolutely fine. Just don't expect me to do it. So let's run that again. We should be able to just, oh no, we can just run the macro, can't we? So that's now moving the bed down, down moves it up. X positive, X negative, Y positive, Y negative. Excellent. You can use the fluid controls to do. By default, the Z controls and fluid interface will increase. Excellent. If your bed does not move down when you click the up arrow, change the direction. Verify the end stops and the Z probe. Navigate to the tuning tab. In here you can see, where's the tuning tab? Jobs, history, tune. Open. So if we, where are they? Here's one. If we close this, refresh. Oh, is it not? It doesn't seem to be updating the. That's weird. Oh, it's cropped. That's why. Oh, there we go. That was really weird. Okay. So, all open. If we hold the X, that should then be closed, triggered. If we hold Y, that's then triggered. The Z, we can't do it this way because we've got a BL Touch, which is just like an instantaneous thing. I think there was a, to test debug, refer to BL Touch Klipper config. Oopsie daisy. Connecting, initial test, perform. Moving on, verify it's mounted at the correct height. The pin should be off at 2 millimeters. When you turn on the printer, should perform self-test. Run. This command. Verify that the pin moves down and that the red LED on the probe turns off. It did it. That's good. If not, check your wiring. Next issue, BL Touch debug command pin up. Verify the pin moves up. It did. And that the red light turns on again. It did. If it's flashing, then there's some problem. The next step is to confirm that the sensor pin is working correctly. Run BL Touch debug command pin down. Verify that the pin moves down. Yeah, we already did that, right? I guess we're going to use it from the pin down position. Run BL Touch debug command equals touch mode. So that's presumably activated it. Run query probe and verify that the command reports probe open. Yep. Then, while gently pushing the pin up slightly with the nail of your finger, run query probe again. Yeah, so I think it wants it like here, doesn't it? Oh. Triggered. Verify command reports triggered. If either query does not report the correct message, then check your wiring configuration. At the complete of this run, pin up. And the pin retracts back into the body. After completing the BR touch control pin and sensor pin test, it's now time to test probing. But with a twist. Instead of letting the probe pin touch the print bed, let it touch the nail on your finger. Position the tool head far from the bed. Issue a G28 or probe if not using Probe Z virtual end stop. Wait until the tool head starts to move down and stop the movement by very gently touching the pin with your nail. You may have to do it twice since the default probing configuration probes twice. Be prepared to turn off the printer if it does not stop when you touch the pin. Can we just run probe? Just once. Probe at 150. 150 is 140.9325. Result is excellent. Wait until the tool head starts to move up. If that was successful, do another G28, but this time let it touch the bed, as it should. Okay, time for a full home. We're doing a full XYZ home. What's the chances it works? I just hope that Z position is okay. I think it should be fine. And we're off. Please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash. Probe is definitely extending beyond the nozzle. Please, 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 please. Yes! It's always so nerve-wracking the first time. Well, you can't really see from your angle. This is the downside of the upwards moving bed. Even that's not quite there, is it? It might be a little bit wonky, but I think we're hopefully a bit closer to something that's easy to look at. Trouble is, this main beam's right way. V-Core 3 is not a great spectator sport from this angle. My light has gone off. Right, this is going fantastically well. Have we not had any problems yet? An easy way to do Z offset calibration is to home the printer, then put a piece of paper underneath the nozzle. Now baby step through the fluid interface. This probably won't work very well because I've not got a hot anything. Yeah, I mean, I did it, you saw me do it with my finger the first time, but it's still like the first time where it's the actual bed and you know if it doesn't work exactly, it's going to just absolutely destroy stuff. That Raspberry Pi temperature is all over the place, isn't it? Also rather warm. What we can do, I guess, is just carefully snip any needs to get hot, really. I reckon we should do PID tune next. Well, I think in order to do this, I need PID. So I really think I need to do PID next. Z tilt adjust before setting Z offset. This also true. I think we need, personally I think we need PID in here because, I mean, if your printer's absolutely brand new, then I agree you wouldn't need to have it hot. Although it can be useful to have it hot. I think it's good to get some PIDs done. Klipper supports PID for the extruder and bed heaters. In order to use this control mechanism, it is necessary to calibrate the PID settings on each printer. To calibrate the extruder, navigate to Octoprint terminal and run PID calibrate command. For example, PID calibrate heater equals extruder, target equals 170. Right, that's a bit tepid, isn't it? So we're not going to do that, but we're going to use the command. So we do want to do the extruder. But we're going to set that target to 220. I think it's probably a little bit more appropriate. And we do want to check fans actually before we do this, don't we? Fans should be checked next. Part cooling fan. Oh, that's a lot of blow. Okay, good. This not so easy to check. It did come on before, so I'm going to just assume that that's going to be fine. At least they're plugged into the right place and we know they're getting power. We send that and that's come on, so that's good. And I can feel some breeze around it. Let's get a piece of paper for do our nozzly thing in a minute. How long has it taken me so far? How am I getting on? An hour! Holy shit. It was a lot of blow. So for the part cooling fan, which is the 5015, 5015, the one at the back, radial fan, that is a sun-on fan. I can't see the model number, it's right at the back. And the front is a Noctua. They're both 12 volt fans, so they should both be set to 12 volts. Hopefully they are. Looks like it. I like the green colour in this actually, it's really good, isn't it? It gives a nice contrast and makes it easy to read. That is spinny spinny so you get a lot of blowy blowy. Yep, that's definitely how it works. Well, the back one spinny spinny's more, so you get extra blowy on that one. Less talk, more config. I'm waiting for it, it's doing its thing. I can't config more at the moment. I need to wait. Can the Skr Pro do 12 volt fans? I've got an Skr. I don't think it can do them in the same way. I think the fan outputs on this are fixed to the system voltage. You could have a separate power supply because this supports multiple inputs, so you could do motors on 24 volts and then the power for the main board on 12 volts and then have all your fans at 12. It would be possible. Oh, there you go, it has a 12 volt 1 amp rail as well. It's just obviously not a direct fan output, so you'd need to work with You'd probably want to check their Big Tree Tech. I can't even talk. Big Tree Tech do generally have pretty good source information, so that's definitely the right place to go. It's a shame shiny nickel-plated copper nozzles don't last looking extra shiny for very long. Another good reason to have the bed surface flipped while doing this. I assume the LRS 200 PSU is okay. It's working well for me. It's a 250, but yep. That seems to be the universal printer power supply. Obviously, the only reason you can use a low power, I mean 250 is not that low, but it's a mains power bed, so obviously the power that's 600 watts is not going through that power supply. Hence, you're only controlling motors, boards, and hot end fans and that kind of stuff with it. So your 250 watts should be plenty. The thermals are deliberately all over the place. It's doing PID calibration, so it's working out how the heating responds, well, how the temperature responds to different heating parameters. Different parameters, does it vary parameters, or does it just measure how quickly and slowly it heats up? Has it done it? Is that the end? It looks like it's done, doesn't it? It is ready. Yeah, it's done, cool. So save config, and that's going to chuck those into the config file. And now we're going to do the bed. Does this do autofill? Because that would be really cool. Yes. Oh no, not completely. Why is it heater bed and not heated bed? Or bed heater? I suppose it doesn't really matter. Heater equals heater bed. Target equals 100. That's maybe, because it's going to fluctuate. I think we'll go 90. Heater underscore bed. Oh, it's case sensitive. Oh, little h, big B, no, without the capital B. There we go. I guess this display name actually puts it in title case rather than the actual name. Oh, you can hide stuff on the graph. That's pretty fancy, isn't it? Didn't know you could do that. Camel case. PRD tuning is not really very dramatic, is it? It doesn't. I can show power usage. Oh, damn. I mean, it's not really power usage, is it? It's sort of power usage. It's a proportion of max power that's estimated. And it's not really actual indication of how much power. Well, Kinovo is a Chinese company, I believe, but it is a, yeah, it is the Kinovo. So this was a full kit from RatRig. This was their default kit originally. I've obviously now modified it quite a lot. All the printed parts are different. Hot end's different, fans are different. Everything else is, oh, control board's obviously different. New Raspberry Pi, new 5-volt power supply. Yeah. I think this is much closer to a configuration that I would really recommend for this printer, as opposed to the one I was provided, which is a bit limiting. I've noticed the movement is quieter than the previous machine already, in the previous calibration setup. Control board. So we've got thermals going on. Can we get a bigger graph? I want to like full screen the graph, but that's only because I'm doing a stream, I suppose. This massive bed takes a while, doesn't it? I guess while we're waiting, I do have Super Slicer, so we should have V-Core 300 and that should change. There we go, look at that. Banging. What do we want to print with today? PLA is probably a good place to start. Oh no, that's just try and print the whole bed. No, I don't think that's a great idea. Where's that cube gone? We spent ages looking for that goddamn cube and it's disappeared. So we were on community contributions. No, we weren't. We were here first, and then we went here. And then did we just search cube here? Oh, we could probably just do that anyway. The not cube. Download, please. Save file. There we go. I'm not a fan of using 45-degree overhangs anymore. I go for the bottom. I tend to go 50. Just because it just looks better. I'm guessing these like impossible overhang shapes are kind of deliberate here. Is that round the right way? Yeah. No, it's not. That is facing in X direction and it says Y. I suppose it depends whether you want it the direction it's facing versus... I like it to be the direction it's facing. So the X is the logo, Y is up, down, well, like front, back, and then Z is up, down. Yeah, green is Y, which is front back, so I want the Y facing that axis. I guess different people think about it in different ways. If you want to think about it as it's travelling along Y, it's drawing that face. But I prefer to have it facing that direction. All my calibration prints that I've done have the letter facing in the direction of that axis. So if you draw a line through all the Y's, then you're drawing that axis line kind of thing. One thing we can do, if we go to printer settings, we should be able to now create our physical printer. We're going to Klipper. This is obviously local IP address. That's working, so we're good to go there. How's the PID going? Oh, wrong printer. Oh, it's done. Excellent. Save config. Bosh. I think about it the right way, just so I'm an actual real CNC machinist. No comment. So... well, we're trying not to confuse... It's not the y-axis. That's a bit of a language confusion with X, Y, A, B and what Core XY is doing. Your A and B motors in combination control the X and Y principal axes of motion. X and Y directions don't change, they're always X and Y. Unless of course you're using polar coordinates, but we're not. So... we have to do that Z tilt. Is there not a... Oh, Mikhail, is there not a tilt thing in here at all? It's not just in a different place. It doesn't seem to be here. PID, pressure advance, input shaper, skew correction. We don't want slice, we've kind of done that. There's a button next to movement tools. Z tilt adjust, there is. It's alright, don't worry, I'm looking for this so I can do the bed levelly thingy. I've actually not tested the E motors going in the right direction yet. Can we do this? No. Right, let's turn all the other temperature thingies off, on rather. Yeah, when the window, yeah, oh shit. So we're going to do that now. So this is that kind of bed dancey thing. I'm hoping the positions are appropriate. I shouldn't need to heat up. I mean, I probably want to heat the bed. Let's get the bed up to, oh, let's just do, oh, let's do 100, screw it, that's fine. I'm assuming it wouldn't have let me do it if I hadn't homed, or it has a home included in the macro. I do have a bit of filament in the hot end, correct. Oh yes, I do, don't I? I'm going to get that out at some point. I think we'll just be able to push that through when we start printing. I'm not too worried about it, just got to be a bit careful not to raise the extruder temperature too high. Although it might be a bit late now because I've just done a PID tune at 245 or 220, whatever I did it at. So now we've done home, the bed is approaching temperature. We should leave it to settle really. Shouldn't take too long. God, the radiant heat off that bed is absolutely monstrous. I can feel it from like miles away. How am I liking the Voron so far? Pretty good, pretty good. It's done a lot of printing. We've had some problems, it's definitely not perfect. Don't let anyone tell you it's perfect, but it has been good. Why are we heating the bed? Because I'm going to do Z offset stuff. Presumably I want to do that warm for the thermal expansion. Bed's at temperature. Let's do a Z tilt adjust. It's really difficult to watch this, isn't it? There's not much point heating the nozzle for bed probing though, is there? Because I suppose for when you do the papery thing, obviously that's important. We'll do that. Start that heating now. Thermal expansion will matter. Well, so obviously the XY expansion is not problematic on the machine because of the kinematic coupling, but that's not the only factor at play, unfortunately. If it was, our lives would be much easier. Because it has an effect in Z as well, we need to make sure that we account for that. That Z tilt is kind of off. No, I think it's the camera perspective that looks kind of off. Or was the probe positions? I wasn't really watching the probe positions. The bed looks flat now, level. We'll do it again. Now that it's level, it should be quicker, right? It does take a little while, doesn't it? Z expansion doesn't matter either. It's the offset from the probe to the nozzle that you're adjusting. Whatever shape you're probing has no effect on that. Oh, true, yeah, I guess. I haven't run probe accuracy. I can do a probe accuracy. Does seem to be diverging, doesn't it? I'm wondering if it's just the way I've bundled it up in all the wires and the stuff that it's adjacent to in this compartment at the back. I might just try and move it from its location. Get the wires out of the bundle they're sitting in. Oh, one of the pins looks like it might not be connected very well either. I need a plastic jabbing tool so I can... I do have a plastic thing. I'm 99% it's the couplers. Which couplers are we talking about? Lead screw couplers. Tight AF. That one's tight. This one. That one's super tight. That's also super tight. I was checking both. They're both definitely tight. It may be the stepper motor mounts are not tight. Ooh. I think it's more likely wiring than mechanical, to be honest. It's too precise a difference to be mechanical. It's better, but it's still increasing, isn't it? I think it was the cables at the back. I think because they're adjacent to all sorts of other shit. And because they're running like parallel to all this stuff in the cable chain, I think that's just going to cause some noise on the signal. That's my unprofessional opinion. Let's Z tilt adjust again. Still got the bed whacking out 100 degrees for some reason. Extruder's also 100 degrees. What a strange temperature to use. I agree with Mikkel because I need to be on his good side for the Big Tree Tech giveaway. Yeah, that's as good a reason as any. Cool, we're good to go. So, now we want to get... You're right about this. Let's take this back down to just... That can just cool down. We'll stick this up at 230. That is actually really useful, that graph, because you can see with the power that paragraph, how PID is working with the hot end. That's pretty cool. I love that. That's for the bed. Wicked. The hole did seem very low because I was able to twist them with my fingers when I was adjusting the bolts. Obviously that's kind of when they're in their, not sleep mode, but low power state, when they're not doing anything. They go idle, don't they? Okay, nozzles to temperature. Still got some gunky stuff coming out. What I could do is try and push it through. I don't know where that orange came from. Where the hell did orange come from? The filament was black. What? How has it gone orange? This was black, the stuff that's in there was black, and orange has come out. I'm so confused right now. It came from the nozzle, but when I... Oh, it was the different thing that I was disassembling. Yes, yeah, sorry, I'm thinking about the Voron I was disassembling earlier. Yeah, you're right, it was orange, wasn't it? Chugging out a secret snack. So I'm going to move this down because I want to flip the bed over, just because you get a slightly different feeling on the other side. It's probably, again, not super important. Or maybe, no, I think we'll do this side. This will be better. So we want this to go to the middle of the bed. Oh, it's still oozing. The blow is affecting colour perception. Too much blow. No, so I don't know if you saw the YouTube shorts I posted earlier with diagnosing the Voron. But because they're both Dragon hot ends, I just got confused about which one I was looking at. And obviously that one had black in it. So for some reason my mind was still like, oh yeah, black will come out of this. Because obviously there's a tesseract between one Dragon hot end and the next. Oh yes, the reverse side is just steel. This is oozing so much. So how does it suggest we do? An easy way to do probe Z offset calibration is to home the printer, then put a piece of paper underneath the nozzle. Now baby step Z through the fluid interface by issuing G0 commands through the console until the nozzle touches the paper and there's a bit of resistance when you pull it. Then write get position in the console and find the line that says kinematic da 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 and use the Z coordinate from that multiplied by -1. So I'm going to home again, just to be sure. We'll come back to the middle and do it again. I'm assuming we can use these boutons to move everything rather than actually issuing written G-code commands. That would be kind of annoying. So that's now on there. So we're going to move Z down 1 millimeter. Is that actually moving? I'm not sure that's doing anything. That's definitely grabbing. It's definitely not. Minus 2.45 I think we want. Oh no, we have to do the... Let's do this. Get position. Yeah, minus 2.4. So we just want this 2.4. And we're going to move this back up. I've actually used, so the probe calibrate, and then you do the Z command, don't you, to do this? And I find that actually really annoying. It was kind of, it didn't work super well for me. Maybe I was doing something a little bit wrong, but I just found it a bit annoying. It went out of range and then just, oh, it was a bit of a pain. Anyway, we've got the value. What are we going to do with it? Multiplied by -1, then you need to add 0.4 to your probe's offset. Z underscore offset. Here, 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 here. Z underscore offset. 2.45. How are we doing for time? 1 hour 43. I hope this cube's going to print fast because we haven't done bloody input shaper yet. Right, I think we need to rush on to... We've done enough of this, I think, haven't we? The Z high overrides, finalizing, tuning. End stops I'm not too worried about, it's okay, it's close enough. When you've verified everything works, you have your start print and end print macros. You can now start tuning, refer to Klipper, PID, pressure advance, manual input shaper, automatic input shaper. I know I can do input shaper later. I kind of said I would do it on stream. Is it not in the title? Oh, cool. I guess we could do another live stream if we have time, another day of just tuning. How long is this cube going to take? "45 minutes. That's not super fast, is it? Oh, I'm guessing it's slowing for cooling, maybe. Voron's fast profile is exactly the same. It would come with a, I mean, I actually turned that off, if you remember. Well, I didn't enable it. Maybe you weren't here yet for that bit. 0.05, shall I just enable that? Or shall we do, let's do one, I think I quite like the idea of having a print done without it, and then we can do a stream maybe comparing with and without the tuning. There is a pressure advance in there, so I can do without it in here. I've lost it already. It's not even a long file, how can I not find it? Oh, I didn't. Okay, it's... Oh, we'll just leave it as is. So let's get the bed up to... Oh, we're going to print PLA, aren't we? That's what I said. Shall we go a bit more exotic and try... No, let's go with PLA. Or What material are we going to use? I've got all of them available. ABS, ABS Plus, PLA, PETG. What material? I've also got ASA. Copper nozzle, so nothing hardened. Need to fit the spool holder while we decide on what we're doing. Unfortunately, the spool holder is still green, so we'll just have to deal with that emotionally. Hopefully we'll be okay. RatRig Green P. I don't have any of their green PETG. I do have a green PETG. But it's a bit of a rubbish green. The better green I have is ABS. But do we want to try ABS? I've got this light green eSun ABS Plus. This could be a good thing to try. This is pretty cool green, isn't it? I think that's pretty nice green. It actually, on camera, it looks like it matches up quite well. It's not quite as close as it looks, but... I think I've made a decision. We're going to try ABS Plus. Quite ambitious maybe for a first cube print. Oh. What I should really do for the first print is print a spool holder that's the right colour. Matches everything else. That would be... Oh, I've put it on wrong way up. I'm so used to having filament come out over the top, I forget that this goes under the bottom. So... Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? So, extruder, let's get that to 230 for now. And bed, I think, oh, we're doing ABS, aren't we? 100. So I've got an ABS plus, we'll go with that. Generic ABS, V-Core ABS. I think they're all going to be largely the same. No, they're very slightly different. Oh, this one's 32 minutes. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a fume problem with ABS. I hadn't considered that. Rip headache. So those are heating up. Let's get some green off this spool. Did we do a reset? Let's home everything. I just realised I've not got my LED configured. Yeah, I do need to turn over the sheet. That's what I'm in the process of doing. I was just about to move the Z up, but obviously can't do it quite yet. Okie dokie. 50. Bit of practice putting that on, but I think that's going to be okay. So, bed temps. Let's get a file. I think we're pretty much ready to go. I'll just send it, shall I? Is everyone emotionally prepared? That camera's just going to wobble like hell as soon as the printing starts going, so I'll start. Oh, that might be a good angle. Yeah, lazy Susan for tuning. It's not the best plan. Okay. Are we all ready? Are we all ready? It's oozing like an oozy nozzle. "32 minutes, we're off." It's splooging out the nozzle like nobody's business. Happy with the Prima Flex plate. It's actually, in my review, I was maybe not hugely positive about it, but I've actually come to quite like it. So 100% speed at the moment. That's some insane acceleration. Lazy Susan might not like this. She might be a little bit overwhelmed. I feel like the thing's just going to jump off the desk as soon as it starts. Oh. Why is it cooling down the hot end to 150? Huh? What are you doing? Why would you do that? What on earth is going on? Oh, start print, isn't it? I don't know where the macros and stuff are actually saved in here, so I don't know how to check what's going on. But I'm guessing part of the start print procedure is actually to, it would normally heat up to 150. I think this should be min 150, not at 150, but this is all on purpose. Okay, sure. Config printers, let's go have a look. Config printers, Eagle 3. Ooh! Oh, I saw it. I saw a thing. Equal 3 macros. RC3 also allows you to customize it in all sorts of ways by flipping some variables. Nice. Start print, there you go. Metric value is absolute. G28, heating. Oh, it's off, it's off, it's off, it's off, it's off, it's off, it's off. Camera's blurry. It's a bit jolty. Oh, because it's got no input shaping, has it? So it's going to be like a bat out of hell. It's going to be wobbling like nobody's business on this Lazy Susan. Is it too late to remove the Lazy Susan? Do not do this at home. Hopefully I didn't screw the skew homing business while it... Has it survived? I think it survived. I know. I think it's going again. I know. Oh, it's doing a whole mesh bed calibration as well. It's a busy boy, this printer, isn't it? Just wants to work. Well, or it's procrastinating from doing the work that I've asked it to do. One of those two options. The Y acceleration is it's really not enjoying that. Oh yeah, this is not, it's deploying the probe every single time. How did I connect the Pi to the Octopus? The standard method, so with USB-C cable. The turntable Lazy Susan I've got. So what I've actually bought is that silver ring that you can see. And then I've just added this piece of wood to it. It was just on Amazon. It's just called a Lazy Susan. If you just look up Lazy Susan, you should be able to find something. It's nothing particularly expensive or special, but it does help a lot. Maybe more with live streams. Coming up to temperature, and then it should get going. Just got to hold on to it so it doesn't fly off the desk. Here comes the bed. And we're off. There's nothing coming out yet. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We're off. Oh, that Z offset looks absolutely okay. Absolutely adequate. As it happens, these are quite tame speeds. The noise is massively better though. This was so noisy before. I'm not sure what was not configured quite right. We're going to need to switch camera. Hang on, you're going to have to deal with the wobbly camera for a minute while I set up the other one. There we go, look at that. I was having noise issues with the Duet board, yeah. Something, oh, this is... We're going to have some very pointy corners. They're curling significantly. Will the V-Core 3 sit next to Voron on your bench? It did. I posted a picture of it on Twitter. It's one of those moments where I was like, yeah, I'm a lucky boy. It's the fans that I think are rattling on their own bearings. I can hear something. Something a bit loosey-goosey. I think it's that rear 5015 fan. No, I haven't changed my idlers. I wanted to, but they didn't fit, so I'm with the standard idlers still. So should we do a tuning live stream? I don't know, I mean, I was planning for this to be the last one, so it may be that the next project gets started before I can do anything else. Yeah, I've got the ADXL mounted up, obviously. So for the tuning, I put stepper driver cooling, performance config. Input shaper. Yeah, I was going to do the full tuning input shaper, not the printed and make a guess input shaper. I'll have a go with that pressure advance value. I'm not sure it'll make much difference. I think it's just cooling, to be honest. Is there any part? There's no part cooling on at all. Oh, the occasional bit of 20% part cooling for the... Most of this print has no part cooling whatsoever. I'm just going to whack it up a bit. This is my bed mesh. How close do you want to be? Nice and close? Obviously it droops a little bit at the two rear corners. So for the most part, range of 0.2, there's quite a big range, but I'm not sure why there's a big hump here. Well, the part fan, because it keeps changing, anything I add in, it just resets back to nothing. So it's not a great print. It's a cooling problem, really. It's just a bit of a squidgy mess. It keeps just resetting the part fan to 0. I want to just fix it at something more. Did you use a super slicer thing? Yes. So I got the profiles from the Top Gun's profiles? They're now pinned in the Discord for slicing. It's those profiles. That's what I've loaded in. So that with ABS profile and that. Default fan speed says 20%, but it's... That, I think, needs to be on. Because there's no part cooling at all, so it's just minutiae. I mean, I've been printing both of them recently, and well, yeah, this is what I was talking about. So when you turn this off, the fan is off by default, and it will only come on if the layer time is below 8 seconds. And print speed will be reduced so that no less than 8 seconds is spent on the layer. However, speed will never be reduced below 20 millimeters a second or up to 90% reduction. Fluid! Sorry, did you mean fluid? Set the fan speed in fluid. This is what I did. So it's set here. You can set it, see, but because there's G code that sets it to something else, as soon as it decides, oh, it's going to turn it off, it just goes to nothing. I can't, unless I sit here continually clicking it. I don't think I can stop it reading. I don't have a Stream Deck. Oh, but overlays that fluid button. This. Fluid! Yeah, it does. It's not a great outcome, if I'm perfectly honest. I just want it to ignore. I wish there was a way I could just set it to ignore all of the G code. Set it and then make it ignore everything else. Oh, come back, please, fan, come back. Stream decks are nice, but they're also expensive, so this is not going to be happening anytime soon. You can cancel the print and it will ignore all the G code. Yes, that's true. I mean, we could do another print. Shall I just... I could just stop this one and we'll do another one. I kind of want 30% and maybe like 40, I don't know. I'll stop it before this embarrassment goes any further. The bottom layer didn't look as good as I thought either. We need a little bit extra negative Z.
although not terrible, to be honest.
It would have stuck. Does this printer come with an LCD? No, it doesn't come with an LCD. You could fit one. You honestly don't really need one now that these web interfaces are really good. I tend to just use the web interface, but if you want, you can. I mean, you can get this up on your phone if you've got a smartphone. Presumably you do. So, I mean, you can. It's been basically a portable display you can walk around the building with. Like, there's very little need. Okay, so what are we going to do then? What do you want me to have? What fan speeds? We'll stick this on 30% default, or do we want 20% default? Is 30% going to be too much? %100% fan. Really? 100% fan. 110% fan. I think we're going to struggle to get 110%. How can I just? Can't I just set? I want a strong and pretty cube. Where's the... I think this is auto-cooling the... Enable fan if printer low is preferred, maximum fan speed. $27 minutes. I think this is more like it, isn't it? Now it's going to print at 140mm a second with maximum fan. Or is that a bit much? Because this was, because it's small, it was auto-cooling a lot because of the 8-second limit. Fan speed. Yep, that's pretty consistently 100%. The only options are no or 100. What? There's a weird... I guess that's to get it ramped up, ready for the next layer. That should work, maybe. I've just sent it immediately, so... Have we gone a little bit overkill in the other direction now? Oh, is it going to do another full mesh bed level? Does it not save it? Yeah, the point is you've got to scale these things kind of together, haven't you? That's what I mean. I don't know really what I'm looking for. Probably something here. Right, I'm going to mute my mic for a bit and I'll be back in a second. How are we all enjoying watching the bed leveling process again? Where's the configuration setting to change it? Was I in the right place here? Oh, it doesn't have the... Where's the shortcuts? It doesn't have the, like, the... Where's all the other... It's all gone. Okay. I was looking for a way to make the settings to make the BL Touch go much faster. Oh dear. Did you... I'm guessing you used the config.g. That's the most dangerous word, that is. Config.g is serious link. Okay. Ooh, it's off with a thud. Oh, get that nozzle down, get that nozzle down, get that nozzle down. Where is it? Oh no, 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 no. Come on. I really don't want to have to watch bed mesh leveling again. Oh no, that's maybe too much. I think we're maybe good with that. Oh, it's the messiest first layer I've ever done. But I think it might just stick. Here we go. It's fans o'clock. Where's that fan speed? Part fan, 100%. Okay, in the Discord. I can just do it from the Discord now, to be honest. I don't think there's any rush, is there? Okay, we do it in the override section specifically. So we go here, here, and not do this. That was naughty. If we go to the override section here. Oh, you can't see. Here we go. So in user overrides, there we go. Feel touch, bed mesh, safe home. Oh, that just changed the Pro mesh size. Did that change the homing? Okay. Obviously nothing's going to actually change until we restart that, and we're not going to do that in the middle of the print. This is looking super crispy now. So we could keep clicking that because it's right at the top. So instead of 150, we could put it at 100. That's still reasonably quick, isn't it? That's still quicker than I was doing. Yeah, it's pretty good blowy from the fan. It's making some good crispy prints. At least something is the right colour now. This spool holder's green as well. I know this stream's not sponsored or anything, but my voucher link, if anyone does want to buy one, is in the description. You get 25 euros off and I get a kickback. I believe you can only use it once though, which makes sense. This is eSun ABS Plus Pink Peak Green. Yes, correct. What about it? No, it's the closest I have. It's more of a pastel green, and it's a bit more matte than the RatOS green, which is a bit glossy. Yeah, if you imagine a pastel green, it's like that. Their colours are not very vivid, but Once you get them like in combination with other stuff, I think it looks just fine. ABS isn't always more matte. If you print it higher temperature, it tends to go glossy again. The glossy matty thing tends to be a temperature dependent thing. The hotter you print, the more glossy it can get. Obviously, exactly what you're printing depends. But general rule of thumb, more hotty, more glossy. Are you submitting the model changes you've made to RatRig and Ever Parts to the contrib? At the moment, I've given them all to Pavel. That's as far as I've got. Yeah, the eSign ABS Plus does always seem to print matte. I did try a temperature range print kind of thing the other day, and it seemed like everything from like 230 to 280 all just was matte. Yeah, some like carbon fiber nylons and carbon fiber filled other materials. I'm kind of like the idea of, but at the moment I've got like nickel plated copper nozzles on both of these two machines. Should have done less infill. Yeah, it's quite heavy on the old infill, isn't it? The acceleration seems to be switching between 3000 and 4000. I don't know if that's relevant. I don't know what acceleration value this is actually showing. I'm guessing, yeah, this is slicer overriding the acceleration. Yeah, it is expensive stuff. The thing about carbon fiber is it does actually generally make more warpy prints or more warpy filaments easier to print. It makes them more dimensionally stable. So when you are printing things like nylon and PEEK and stuff, having carbon fiber does actually help the printability. Supposing, of course, you've got appropriate nozzles for the wear resistance. Yeah, isn't carbon fiber nylon about twice the price of... eSun have some. 0.75 kilos is 70 pounds. So that's more than twice the price of a quality of, well, obviously it depends on what you're normally buying, but that makes it like 90 pounds a kilo or something. By the container? What on earth are you printing? How much stuff are you printing? Why are you buying an entire container of filament? I'm guessing you have a shop or something. So the 21700 will say that until I get to 21800, because the YouTube API for reading subscribers changed to be less precise. So yeah, it'll be there until I get to 21,800-ish, I think, or until it rounds to that. Currently at 21,780. So 20 more and it'll be there. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like the stream. I forgot to mention that. That's probably a good thing to do. Just to be sure and not break your probe. I mean, I'd appreciate it if we don't break the probe. That would be that'd be a nice bonus. Oh, commercial printing. We're going to go back. It's actually really warping now, unfortunately, so it's probably going to come off before we finish. I think it's getting really close to coming off. I think, unfortunately, the fans are probably blowing down to the side. We probably don't have much time left on this print before it comes unstuck. That top corner, the front corner, is about 1 millimeter off the front of the bed. Unless the back is really well stuck, which I'm pretty sure it isn't, we won't be making it to the end of the print. I did crank it to 125%. It's even more not of a not cube than it was not before. Now it's not even not a cube. Now it's a warpy bendy. I can see right under the print. Less than half of the print is currently stuck to the bed. What am I listening to? I'm listening to the same as you. It's just a fluid. It's Cosmic by Venomy. It's not. It's just some royalty-free music. It just has some background music. Oh, what am I listening to there? Yes, so I can hear things. There's a clicking. Every time it changes direction, I think it's bearings in the idler. But I'll try and put my mic close to it, see if you can hear. Don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, it clicks when it changes direction. I think it's happening on all the idlers, to be honest. I think my bearings are well dead. I would kind of like to use shoulder bolts on this printer, to be honest. Which idlers that go for bearing stacks? Could do. Already dying. Well, these are the same ones that I had since the review. I mean, to be fair, they died pretty quick. They didn't last very long at all. I don't have the updated. No, so my idlers are... I had one of the... So after pre-orders went out, I had one of the first machines, I think. So they're very early ones. I've just spent all that time reassembling that. I don't know if I want to do it again soon or when I'm going to get time to do that. Maybe I'll see if they'll send me some and it'll just go on the schedule, go on the list, the to-do list to happen at some point. Mikhail, do you know what the changes are in the bearings? Like, have they shared exactly what they've changed, or they just said we've improved them? Well, I hope. I mean, they said I didn't pay for the printer, so. On the Octopus board, I recommend 2209s. But that's on the basis that that's what I've used and they've worked well, rather than knowing all possible drivers you could put in there and picking an optimal one. They changed them to be compressible. Do you mean incompressible, sort of? Able to take an axial load? I do not know how this print is still sticking to the bed. It's actually a miracle. Yeah, okay. That is what I thought you meant. Yeah, so you have that same kind of things. If you've ever used V-slot wheels, they obviously have those two, I think it's 525 bearings or something. 65, I don't remember. But they have two bearings on the outside and they have a spacer in the middle, so you can apply plenty of load and it doesn't distort the bearing. Crush tube is the correct name. As Fast Bike Gear correctly pointed out. You use them in kind of some sheet metal and tube fabrication stuff to prevent crushing of a tube. Well, using a tube, it's why it's called a crush tube. But I'm guessing the upgraded idlers or improved idlers are not black, because that would be cool. I think they need to be black. Or red. Black or red. I think red's quite unlikely, but red would look pretty sweet actually. Anodized red. I mean, I think it would wear off probably. I think it's quite a lot. I don't know, they're only aluminium normally, aren't they? There's probably not much wear from us. The belt's pretty soft. Voron's done. So those parts are good to go. We can set up a new bed for that. Not red, green. Has everyone liked the stream? I haven't checked how many likes or whatever there is. Apologies to anyone watching on Twitch whose comments I've missed. I've not been very good at checking that today. Someone said, wow, is that normal for a rat rig? Quite a little while ago. But I'm not sure what it's referring to because I was not watching. Sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to stream for much longer between like to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, because once you become an affiliate on Twitch you can't do what I'm doing here and double stream. They don't let you. So yeah, and it doesn't take much to get affiliate. Well, I mean it does take quite a bit, but when you've already got a fairly decent audience like I've got here for YouTube, it makes it quite a lot easier to bring that across to Twitch. So oh, I think I just heard it click. That was, yeah, it's moving. I can see it moving. I think it's pretty much, it's still staying on. There's got to be less than a quarter of it still stuck to the bed. The fact that it's still attached at all is actually ridiculous. There we go, it's off. Where's the cancel? There we go.
I mean, considering how horrendously bad the first layer was.
Fluid!
It's really difficult to navigate an enormous bloody tripod in a tiny little room.
I think that's turned out respectable, given how poor the first layer was. It looks a bit overexposed, doesn't it? Can we compensate for the exposure with some white? I mean, we've got some layer issues where it's warped.
And I think it's starting to split already.
Because we had 100% fan, so while it looked pretty, it's not at all functional.
Any Z banding? Not really. It's quite difficult to tell because of the warp.
Can I check the dimensions? I mean, sure.
I'm not sure they're particularly relevant because I've not calibrated anything. So Y is measuring at try not to measure on the letter. Well, dot on 30.
So that's Y-axis.
I mean, the faces are so rough, it's not very good as a measurement.
30.1 is X.
And Z is cut off.
Truncated, I believe, is the correct terminology. But I'm glad we've got a rat rig now
That's performing even better than it was. Despite the fact
the idlers are a little bit broken. A little bit broken. It's DNF. Yeah. I prefer truncated. Truncated sounds more deliberate, even though it was not deliberate at all. I mean, to give you an idea of how bad the layer adhesion is, I'm going to see if I can brush break it with my bare hands. I think I probably can.
no, not quite. But I can definitely, I mean, it's opening cracks already. Ooh. Yeah, and so this Y face seems to have worse cooling or more cooling.
Which makes sense because it's blowing in from the side, so those Y phases are going to be the weakest with high airflow.
Because you can see maybe that's really opening up. Yeah, I just delaminated the whole lot. So while it looks a bit pretty,
don't use 100% fan on your normal prints because they won't be very functional for very long.
I mean, that did kind of hurt. It's still quite a lot of effort, but that's just an example of just because you can use 100% fan to make it look good,
Doesn't make the part.
actually use. I really want to. Yeah! Just hulk this into 2 pieces. That's nice. There we go.
Right, that's enough fun for one day. Now it's really not a cube. Now it's 2 not a cubes. You did give me a pretty print. It was pretty, that's for sure. Well, apart from the warping, it was pretty. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Hope this has been useful, fun, enjoyable, or a bit weird. Don't forget fluid. It's getting quite late. Should we just see if we can get that one more time? Fluid. Oh dear. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for all the help, Mikhail and others. Hopefully I'll see you again soon for a tuning live stream. If not, we do have other live streams coming up, so hopefully you'll be able to stick around for those ones too. I don't know when the next live stream will be. Maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. We shall find out. Just get subscribed, hit that notification thingy bell and put it on all, so then you'll get notified when I do a live stream. And also I tend to announce it on the Voron and RatRig Discords if it's relating to these printers, brands, etc. So there's a pretty good place to follow as well. Right. Goodbye then. I shall see you again soon. Ta-ra!
Skr